Hello and welcome to the Human Talk Podcast, the podcast where humans talk. This is an interview-style podcast where I ask our guests questions about anything and everything. I am your host, Jacob Walker, and today I'm joined by Adam Carlson. Adam, how's it going?
Doing pretty good.
That is great to hear. Adam is an entertainer at heart, creating countless video skits, music, and running a Twitch stream that reaches over 100 people. Do you want to educate us on the wide world of streaming?
Sure. Yeah, I just occasionally I'll be like, hey, maybe I should do this. Or I was like, hey, maybe it's quarantine. I got nothing going on. Why not try this out? So I did it, and as most things do happen, no one watched, and then people started watching, and I was like, wow, that's pretty neat. And now I have a schedule and all that, and I have made some money off of it.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's always nice when there's like, you can have a side thing, and then you can also be like, oh, yeah, and I can make a little bit off the side.
Yeah, it's not much at all, but it's something.
Yeah. I heard recently you got Twitch affiliate. You want to tell us a little bit about what that means? What it means to be a Twitch
Uh,
affiliate?
yeah, well, this happened around August, I believe, and what that means is basically I'm monetized. I can make money off of it. Um, the only requirements are 50 followers, 3 average viewers, and then you have to like actually stream. And there's like more specifics there, but point is you have to actively stream basically.
Right, you have to be active on that platform.
Right.
So, what kind of stuff do you stream?
Um, Honestly, I've been playing one of my favorite games. It came out in September, called Splunky 2. Love that game to death. So I mainly do that, and that's really it. But
Yeah,
occasionally I'll edit on stream, or I'll change things up occasionally.
cool. So, what makes Spelunky so like? What makes it your favorite game? Why is it something
So
that you enjoy
it's
playing?
uh I play Splunky 2, which came out in September. It's the only game I've really played since it came out. But basically, I used to play HD a lot. I think I had 400 hours in that, and that's basically the first one.
Hmm.
And I love the game because it's a randomly generated short game. Like, if you were to beat the whole game, it takes 20 minutes. The
Oh,
issue is it's extremely difficult. So you have to learn how it works, learn how it plays, and then you can do the fun stuff, the hard stuff.
right. So, do you speed run the game when you play, or do you just play it on
I
stream, play a bunch of
I do
different
I
ways?
do both. I play it both casually and I speed run it. Just a couple different categories that no one else really speed runs.
Right. What's your best time? What's the one you're most proud of?
So all characters is you just have to unlock all the characters. Pretty
Mhm.
simple. Um, and that one, I believe I am fifth place,
In the
and
entire world?
yeah, out
Whoa.
of and it took me 41 minutes to do, and there's only 7 people who have ever done it and submitted.
Okay, but still, that's pretty high.
I have cut an hour off of the entire run altogether.
That's pretty good. How long did it take you to cut that hour off? Like, if you cut that hour off, did it take like 5 hours,
So
6 hours?
I think I submitted it a couple times. I think I've done it. I want to say, hmm, I want to say I've done the run in its entirety 4 or 5 times. The first time I was just filling it out, and then I cut it down to like an hour 10, and then 50 minutes, and now it's 41.
That's that's a lot of time shaved off.
Yeah.
So you were talking about how you have to actively stream. What does it take you to like do that stream? Like, what's the stuff you need to set up and get ready? What do you need to do mentally to prepare for a stream?
So honestly, it's not a ton because I'm pretty casual on stream. I just have to like set up my camera, um, you know, make sure no one's gonna walk in, plug in the mic, and go. Pretty simple.
That sounds
In the
pretty easy.
past though, I've organized like setting up a theme. So my streams have a drive-in movie theater theme. It's
Hmm.
like every stream starts with like 10 minutes of just drive-in ads while I setting up.
That sounds pretty fun. That sounds like a cool thing to have right at the beginning.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Does it have like the hot dog people dancing around? Go buy concessions.
Not basically, but it's not that cliche.
No, okay. Not super cliche.
Nope.
Nope. So what's it like to communicate and like interact with the people on stream? Because I know with like making a podcast or like YouTube videos, everything comes afterwards. You make the content and then you see everybody's reaction. What's it like to having a live reaction to that content?
Right. It's kind of fun. It's kind of one of the reasons I started, because either way, I'm wasting my time playing Splunky. Might as well stream it and talk to people, have that conversation, I guess.
Right, might as well have that community along with whatever you're doing.
Exactly. It's really just another source to, I guess, build a community.
Yeah, so moving on to something else that you do a lot. I know that you're in band and you play a lot of instruments. What do you think the hardest part of like balancing every instrument you play is?
Well, so I only actively play two instruments. That's clarinet and percussion. So take pre-COVID times. I played clarinet and I played marching cymbals. I loved marching cymbals and all that, so that was easy to like stay motivated, stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
And then clarinet, I was in the middle band class, symphonic, so it's like mid range, and the music wasn't too hard, so I didn't have to practice too much. So most of my time playing clarinet was in class.
Right. What is it like playing an instrument, especially a wind instrument? What changed during this pandemic? Like were you still allowed to play the instrument at all or were you just like banned from it in class?
So when I'm obviously when you're synchronous, it's weird. Because obviously, if everyone unmutes and plays, it's gonna
It's going to be a
sound like
nightmare.
a fire, a dumpster fire.
It might be bad. It might be just a little bad.
So what it is basically just one person unmutes, plays. Everyone plays along on their own, and you have to have like that self feedback. But when you're
Right.
in person, we just put a cloth over the bell so the air doesn't escape as much.
Oh, that's cool. So it's kind of like it's basically a mask for your clarinet. That's actually like a
Kinda,
pretty interesting idea.
yeah,
You just put a bag on the clarinet and just make sure nobody touches it at all.
pretty much.
Yeah. What about the other thing, movie making? I know that you do a lot with like digital media just in general, but what do you think brought you to enjoy making films, making short films, all of that stuff?
So I've always enjoyed anything involving a camera. I think it's all super neat, and films are probably my favorite format for storytelling. Because like a book, you have to sit down, you have to read. That's tough. That reading is hard.
It's
Okay,
hard.
so then a show, well, that's a huge time sink. Of course, you can balance it out, but then a film, a short, especially a short film, that's like 8 minutes, and you get a whole story,
Right.
and I think that's super neat. I'm not. I'd call what I do more film projects. Like it's just like one very simple idea, kind of expanded over like 3 minutes,
Right. Hmm.
maybe. But it's still an idea. It's still something. Some people would classify it as short films, others not.
Do you have a favorite film that you've made out of all of them, like ever?
I mean, I am super critical about my films. I want to say I don't like a lot of them. I'm not a big fan. I would description to all of them would be super critical of myself. If I didn't want to bring the mood down, or if I
Right.
didn't mind doing that, but um,
Well, I think some of the concepts you do are really funny. Like there was one where Adam like made a couple. He's made short films, and I've watched a couple of them because they're really good. And there was one where a guy went down and got like a jar of olives out of his fridge, and a robber came in and started breaking into this guy's house. But since the guy was downstairs eating a bowl of olives, it scared the robber away because the guy was eating olives straight out of the jar. Nobody does that.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it
And
was
I think
really mortifying.
it's a really funny concept, and it was really well made. I'll put it in the description, but it was just really well shot to just kind of show the robber's turn from confusion to just fear, because it kept cutting back and forth, and it was just really good. It was really funny.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of my favorites that I've done. I think all of them have really good elements. Another good one I like is the painting. It's about a guy. He gets a painting. In this case, it's actually a Garfield tapestry, but it doesn't matter.
The
Don't look
best
into it
painting.
too much. And he goes to hang it up on the wall, and he hits his hand with the hammer, and then he just doesn't want to look at the painting anymore, so he throws it into the street, and it's uh, again, describing it verbally doesn't do a
It
whole
never
lot
does
of
it
justice.
justice, especially when
But
your stuff doesn't have a lot of dialogue. So all of the content comes from the movements and like the acting. But just kind of describing it, it's like when you write something and then you film it, it looks way cooler when you film it because you know what you want in your head.
right, dialogue is a really difficult thing for me. In one of my more recent ones, the deal. That's another thing. I just like naming my things the insert word.
Right.
But the deal, it was supposed to be like very vague, very simple, but at the same time, it's just confusing a little bit. Again, I think there are some elements of value there, but
Right. I think that's
again,
always fun when you can confuse the audience. You can be like, you don't know what's gonna happen. I
well,
do.
when it's like an understood, I'd say there's two types of confusion. You can just straight up confuse them to where they don't know what's happening, or you can confuse them in they don't know what's next.
Right. I think
And
there's also that third point where it's like you can confuse them along with the character in the story. So like have the character be
right,
confused with the audience.
right, and that goes into like point of views, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know. Dialogue's tough. That's a tough one for me.
Dialogue's really hard, and I think it's because it's really hard to emulate like real world conversations. It's so hard to be like writing something and then you have to go and you have to go, would somebody really say this in real life? Would somebody go, wow, that was totally radical? If they were a skater in real life, they wouldn't. That's like a stereotype. So writing
Yeah,
dialogue comes down to what is the stereotype of this character I'm writing? How do I break that stereotype away from that character?
right. There's two types of dialogue, I'd say. I'd say there's the scripted one where it's like very narrative, but then there's also that natural dialogue where they cut each other off. They interrupt.
Exactly, just like this, like what we're doing right
They
now.
ramble off exactly like what
Right,
you just did.
on purpose, definitely. It wasn't on purpose.
But the natural dialogue, I like that more. But that is so hard to emulate. It's almost impossible. I'm really bad at dialogue. That's
I
one of my hopes to fix.
I think it becomes even more difficult on paper. Like if you're writing a screenplay or a script, it becomes really hard because you can't just like cut off words on paper, but you can do it in real life. Like while we're having a conversation, I can cut you off, but I can't just like put dot 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 on my paper when I'm writing it.
Exactly.
All right. So do you write scripts and like screenplays for all your short films, or do you just kind of go, I have an idea, I'm gonna write a couple things down and then like shoot it?
Okay, so in this past year, I have made 6 films for my class, and before that, I made 2 more just on my own. And those ones are a lot older, and I'm not as proud of, especially the oldest one. But that's obvious; you
I
improve
mean,
over
it's
time.
just because you get better over time. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but out of those 6, I'd say that only 2 have real dialogue, and neither are spectacular. We did attempt to script it, but at the same time, uh, things happen. You can't really look at a script,
Right, you can't be like looking at the script while you're doing the scene.
so it kind of becomes more improv then.
Yeah, and that's not a bad way to do it. Like if you have talented enough people to do the improv for the audio and for like the dialogue, it actually might work better because it'll be more natural.
Right. But the issue at that point is that um, a lot of people that I get, obviously, are just friends because I can't cast people or
Right.
anything. Like you have to really have someone in mind if you're gonna do that, or have some sort of budget, which
Right.
I never have.
And you
Um,
don't like create your characters around people. You create your characters for the sake of the narrative. It's not like, "Oh, I know somebody who'd be great for this role. Let's do this guy."
well, so that actually is an interesting point. I I do try. I'm like, okay, who do I have access to? What are they strong at? What can they do well? So I cast them for that. Unfortunately, I don't really know anyone good at dialogue, so the lines usually go stale. And if it's like short notice, like I'd say I make one of about every three 3 weeks, around that range. I have a new film project due, and in that time range, it's just really hard to find people. So that's kind of why I keep it
Yeah, you keep
empty
it
in
no
dialogue,
dialogue.
because people are better at doing actions than speaking.
Right. It's easier to like mime out a scene than it is to go, "Oh, hey, I need you to say this, this, and this." An example of really good
Exactly.
dialogue that you have though is that I don't remember what the title of it is, but it was like a Spanish soap opera.
Solo los
Yeah.
cucharas no
Yeah.
separe. That
The
one, that one's over a year old now. I
the
love that
dialogue
one.
was all fake, but you wrote the dialogue down in the like captions, and that was good dialogue because it was like it was a full fleshed out story making fun of dialogue almost. You were almost parodying every single dialogue that's ever been made.
So there's a very interesting story behind that one. So keep in mind, at that time I wasn't in a class. I didn't get any of like the feedback from
Right.
anything I really did,
That was
and
just
I
I
didn't
wanted to
do
make that.
much. But there's this funny internet man, and he was like, "I'm doing a film fest. Make it either a horror or a love story, and blah blah blah. Do here, go." And um, we even had to use a line of dialogue. I don't even remember. It was like a word or something.
Mm,
Unfortunately, I don't remember what the word is, but
that's all
we
right.
used it somewhere. And so we were like, okay, we actually had like something really well planned out, and then everything fell apart. We lost our actor for it,
Oh,
and I'm glad that happened, because it would have been terrible. I would have hated it. Instead, we took one of the gags from it, like he was going to watch TV and be like, "Man, how television has fallen." Right? And we were like,
right.
"Okay, what if we just make the Spanish soap opera, and none of the Spanish is real? Like it all translates false, and it's just nonsense." And so we did that, and it turned out pretty good, honestly.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because there's like all the actions that the characters do, which tells its story on itself, and then the captions tell another story.
Right. Yeah, well, like they'll say like the direct translation will be like cat cheese uh bathroom, and then the line will be something crazy.
I loved
Um,
you. Yeah.
yeah, and like at one point I say "te gusta," and it's just a paragraph of text in the captions.
That is, I love that bit. I know it's been done before, but it's just such a great bit. When it's like somebody says
Classic.
either, I think you did the opposite of what normally happens, where people say like a bunch of dialogue and it just is like yes, but you kind of flipped it on its head and it was like te gusta, and every word came on screen. It was like almost a boost to all that joke because the joke gets not stale, but like people start understanding what's happening, and the moment you put
Right.
that in, it kind of boosted again. It's like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So we filmed the original one in like 30 minutes, and I edited it in like 10, just so we would have it ready for the actual film day, because we had to put it on the
Right.
TV.
Yeah.
But of course, things fell through, and we were like, okay, we still got to make something. So we were like, what if we just flesh out the idea? The original was in complete English, and it was not nearly as good.
Right.
But once we like really sat down, fleshed it out a little bit, it was good. And again, that was a lot of improv, but because it's Spanish and it's supposed to be nonsensical, it worked
It
really
worked.
well.
Yeah, it worked well. All right, now we're going to hop into a section called Is a Hot Dog a Sandwich? I'm just going to ask you nonsensical questions where the answers don't matter at all. So, if you put one lasagna on top of another lasagna, does it become two lasagnas stacked or does it become one super lasagna?
It's definitely the soup. Well, I think it matters on the proportions, right? Like
Right.
if you cut a really small piece of lasagna, like let's say I don't know 3 inches like both ways,
Right.
like tiny, and you put it on top of each other. That's two lasagnas on top of each other. But if you like took two lasagnas, like entire lasagnas, and stacked them on top of each other, that would definitely be that'd be a super lasagna.
And I think it also matters the age of the lasagna. Because I know people are always like, it's two lasagnas. But if you, or like it's one lasagna. If you have a really old lasagna and you put it on top of a new one, like the old one's all crusty, would that be one lasagna? Or would they go, no, that's two lasagnas because this one's older than the other one?
Okay, I assume it's implied that it's two equally
Right.
aged lasagnas. But let's say they are two different. I'd say it's definitely on the two lasagna side.
Right. What about your DJ name? If you could have a DJ name, what would it be?
DJ name. That's a tough one. DJ. Man, that's a really tough one.
It is hard because there's a lot of stuff. See, I would just be DJ JD so that I could have like a mirror in the middle of the logo.
Nice.
Because DJ Jacob D for DJ.
What about like DJ Refrigerator? Maybe that's the move for me.
You know what? I'm DJ Super Lasagna. That's who it is.
Yeah, we'll go with DJ Refrigerator. I don't know why.
Is it because you're so cool?
Because I'm so cool.
Hey, we just made the same joke.
Exactly. That's the whole purpose of
That's
it.
the thing. Everyone sees that and just goes, "Oh, it's because he's cool. It's very bad, but it's good marketing."
Exactly.
Just my nickname, DJ Ice, cause I'm fire. Wait, who do you think would win in a
Yeah.
fight? 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
Definitely 100 duck-sized horses, just because horses are very aggressive, honestly.
So are ducks though. Ducks are brutal, man. They're crazy.
Well,
Cause like, have you seen their teeth inside of their beaks? It's so gross.
I'm gonna change my vote because a horse-sized duck could just eat up the other ones.
That's
All the
true.
little
It's
horses.
true. It's like
Or stomp them.
yeah. You think they would do it like a whale, where it just grabs a bunch of them in its mouth and just goes like swallows all the krill.
Probably, and it would stomp the rest of them.
That's true. I think the horse-sized duck would win on accident. It wouldn't be paying enough attention.
Yeah.
And it's big. It would be like, oh, I'm looking at that bread over there, and it's just a big billboard that just has toast on it. We are gonna do a mascot tier list. I have 10 mascots, like from food and like stuff on the internet, and I want you to rank them not on your personal taste, but on like how good they are as a mascot.
Just a logical standpoint.
Yeah, just
no
like
bias.
like if I tell you this mascot, you'll go, oh, this is the coolest guy ever.
Gotcha.
So first up on
Okay.
the list is the Lucky Charms Leprechaun.
He's dead. Honestly, he can just no. He needs to go.
Yeah.
Honestly, no one needs him. He's just so inferior to almost every mascot. He's just this little guy. No one can get a hold of me charms.
Me Lucky Charms.
Yeah, it's just
He's like
No.
he's like the size of a stump, right?
yeah. He's tiny.
He's so microscopic.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
He would be the first to go, mostly because all the other people would want to steal his gold, I think.
Yeah, well, then they'd want to steal his Lucky Charms.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All the rainbow marshmallows.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think the best marshmallow is in the Lucky Charm cereal?
Man, I don't pay enough attention. I just eat it, you know.
All right, that's
It's
fair.
like you don't ask what's in a hot dog, right?
What's in a hot dog?
Don't ask it.
Adam, what's in a hot dog?
Oh, the other thing I'd say about him though is just I feel like he's gone soft, right?
He
I don't
has.
watch enough TV, but I'm pretty sure I don't hear him saying, "Don't steal me Lucky Charms" anymore. He's like, "Wow, I have unicorn rainbows.
Yeah,
Uh, let's eat them together. Let's share them." And it's like that's not the Lucky we know.
yeah. Where did capitalist Lucky go? I don't like this new communist Lucky sharing
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
That's gross. So that's the F tier for Lucky the Leprechaun. That's below F tier. That's
For
dead.
sure.
He's not. He does not get on the tier list.
He-
What
No,
about
he is
Mr. Clean?
Mr. Clean. No, that's an interesting one because he's a total Chad, right?
He's a honk. Yeah.
Uh, he's he's very clean. Um,
That
I'd
was,
say. See, I don't know who else is on this list, so I'll put him as a solid C tier.
all right, all right. I say he's upper tier only because he can say, "Yeah, I'm gonna mop away the competition," and because he's got that pun going for him.
That's true.
He's
Maybe
got the clean sweep, you know.
high C, low B.
Right? Yeah. B minus. What
Yeah,
about Pepsi Man?
Pepsi Man. Well, he doesn't really exist anymore.
He does
Uh,
not.
he's gone. Like, where'd he go? He definitely goes into the. Uh, he's a dead mascot.
He's also dead.
He's not. I wouldn't put him in the same dead category. Maybe,
Maybe like
he's
legend. Yeah, like a
he's
myth or a
missing.
legend. hmm
Legend. That's even too
We'll put
much
him on
of
a category in
problem.
the side.
Yeah, he's just kind of there, but not really.
Right. He's something that people remember. They're like every once in a while they'll get slapped in the face with a memory and it'll just be Pepsi Man.
Hmm.
What about Mr. Peanut and in accordance Baby Peanut? So like them combined as a character.
Here's what I hate. I think they should have kept Mr. Peanut dead.
I
He
think
should not have come back.
it would have been such great marketing to kill off their mascot
Hmm.
because their mascot
And
was that for like 100 years.
their mascot could just be an in memoriam, and I'd say that Baby Peanut's just a cheap way to match a trend, and now they can't bring him back. He's dead.
Right. So then do you think
But
everybody tops Baby Peanut in terms of like the baby meme? So like Baby Yoda's better, Baby Vision's better, Baby
well,
Shrek's the
they
best.
they were all natural. You know, that was a very forced company
That's true.
entrance,
Baby
and everyone
Peanut.
hated it for that reason. Everyone wanted him dead.
So is there a reason people wanted him dead? Were they just like, oh, we hate that guy. We hate the Peanut. Get rid of him.
Well, because everyone was so sad that the old guy died, and they moved on so quickly. You know, it's like, really, you're gonna do that? You're gonna do
Right.
that? You're gonna kill your mascot, and then just next week,
Oh no.
pop.
Didn't the Baby Peanut have a voice of like a dolphin?
I don't remember.
It was so
I kind of
weird.
suppressed all those memories.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that he exists.
That ad along with Puppy Monkey Baby are in the back of my brain forever. Like
Puppy Monkey Baby was fantastic.
I dude, okay, you want to hear a story about that ad?
Sure.
So, we were at my aunt's house for that Super Bowl, and my uncle, when that ad came on, he turned off the TV, walked away, came back, turned it on, and he was like, it was still playing. So he was like, that was a real ad? I thought I had a mental break. I thought I was losing my mind. So
Yeah.
he like, it was too much for him to comprehend.
It was a strange one, but I'd say it was a golden one.
It was something that'll stick in the back of my mind. Do I remember what the product is? No, not at
Mountain Dew
all.
Kickstart.
Really?
I think that's what it was.
Huh. I did not. I mean, it makes sense. Mountain Dew's a very out there company, but it just kind of, I'm never going to remember anything but Puppy Monkey Baby. So going back to the tier list, we've got Charles Entertainment Cheese.
D tier. That's all I gotta say, honestly.
Yeah. I think he's a low C for me only because his entire goal is to make kids' lives happier because his parents died. That's canon.
Is that true?
That's canon. That's
Wait,
fact.
hold up. What?
That is lore. Chuck E. Cheese has lore, and it's that Charles Entertainment Cheese, his full name, parents died, and so
how did they die?
I don't think they say for the safety of kids. It's probably, here, we'll make something up. They
Mousetrap.
Rat trap, yeah. They got made into one of the Chuck E. Cheese pizzas on accident. Or whatever. What's that chef's name? Part of his band or whatever. Pascal? I don't know.
I have no idea.
He made Ratatouille. That's what he did. Moving on. Colonel Sanders.
Man, I worked for that guy.
Did you really?
I was looking at my hat. It's on the wall. Colonel's Rising Star.
Wow.
It's true. No, I'm gonna say he's A tier, only because the marketing's stupid. The marketing's so dumb. There's a Hallmark movie. There's a dating sim game.
The new KFC console is gonna be the best console.
Well, so here's the thing though. The food isn't good, or it's not that great.
No, it's not great.
If it's free, you don't complain.
Right.
But I would not pay for it.
I think it's gotten overpriced too.
It's always been overpriced.
Yeah.
If you order wrong, you could spend $10 more and get less food.
That's true.
KFC is a dangerous place.
He also has that weird ghost myth or whatever in Japan, or it's either Japan or China. Basically, I think it's Japan because they celebrate Christmas with KFC. Some people threw a Colonel Sanders statue off a bridge after their team won a baseball tournament or whatever, and then that team has not won a game since. They've not won a tournament since.
Interesting. Yeah, I think their marketing is just so stupid that I find it funny. But KFC is a restaurant, not that great. The Colonel, I don't know what they are doing to him, but I find it humorous. So A tier.
It's pretty funny. I'd also give it an A, probably B+, just because Mario Lopez did not do Colonel Sanders justice in the Hallmark movie. Just out of curiosity, I know you don't know, but do you know any of the 12 herbs and spices?
I think I'm under oath.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's like if I tell you I'd have to kill you kind of thing.
Yeah, they're out for me. They're watching me right now. I see them.
Oh, are they out in your window?
I still have the hat.
Too. Hey guys.
Yeah.
I said I invoked his name.
Yeah, I can't risk.
All right. That's cool. I get it.
Yeah, look, neither of us will make it out if I do.
That's fair. They're watching. There's a little red dot on my computer screen right now.
You gotta be careful around those guys.
Oh yeah, KFC, they've got the best security. That's what the C
That's why it
stands
costs so
for.
much.
That's true. That makes sense. It's inflated. They inflated it for their security team.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. What about the Kool-Aid Man?
I don't have much to say about him. Upper C tier, above Mr. Clean.
Mm-hmm. Have you read the Kool-Aid Man comic book?
I have not.
That, for me, that brings him up to at least a B. Because he is like a superhero among the highest powered superheroes ever. And it's really funny. Also, is the Kool-Aid Man the container or the liquid inside?
I think it's part of it. I think he's an exposed body.
Mm-hmm.
I think he lives a tough life.
He does. He doesn't want to spill anything.
Well, also, if anything gets in there, he's in trouble.
That's true. And it's like a sugary drink, so probably a bunch of flies get in there or something. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I never even thought about that.
Maybe that's how he eats. He just eats flies.
Yeah, you think he's like a Venus flytrap situation?
Yeah, maybe.
He's like, come in, come to me. that would make sense. Or like that weird plant. There's a plant in Brazil that's like a cup, and it's got a
Oh,
bunch of
the
sweet
plant.
smell.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's like that too.
Yeah, it could be.
True.
That sounds a little more accurate.
I think we've figured it out. That's how he
I think
eats.
it's I think it's called the pitcher plant. I don't.
No, I think you're right. That makes sense. What
Yeah.
about Ronald McDonald, the man who is more recognizable than Jesus Christ?
Is that true?
That's true. That is a statistic that somebody found out. When asked, kids recognized Ronald McDonald more than they recognized Jesus Christ.
I mean, I see how that makes sense.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
It's just a funny statistic.
It's so funny.
I think the Ron, man. So I don't remember the. Oh yeah. So last year, I don't remember the exact topic, but eventually I heard that I heard someone call one of my good friends, call it Ron's Lounge,
Oh,
and
I don't
I
like
just
that.
think that's hilarious. So
I hate that.
McDonald's is Ron's Lounge.
Ron's Lounge. It gets even worse when you think of the fact that it has a play place in it and you call it Ron's Lounge. That's awful.
Yeah,
That brings it down to an F for me. He was D at least, but now he's an F.
I'd say he's a B tier for me, just because my one friend called it Ron's Lounge once.
How much did that bring it up? Didn't it bring it up from like a dead to a B, or like what was the jump from Ron's
He'd
Lounge?
probably be like D or C otherwise.
All right,
The
that's
other
fair.
thing is, classic McDonald's Sprite tropical berry.
That's true.
That's
That
Ron's
hits different.
that's Ron's Sprite.
That's fair. That's true. Ron's Sprite is the best Sprite.
Yeah,
That brings it up for me. That's a C. I totally forgot about the Sprite there.
I might get some tonight just because of that reason.
Yeah, you just thought about it and you're just like, I need that TV static. I need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Tony the Tiger.
I don't know. I think he, it's Tony.
Yeah.
He exists.
I think he stayed very true to his brand the entire time he's existed, though.
Yeah, it's always been advertised as the sports one.
Right, yeah.
Tony the Tiger. He's ripped. Tony the Tiger's Twitter. It at least used to be an interesting place. I don't know what it is now, but it probably still is a mess.
You know what Mascot Twitter is really interesting to me?
What? Which one?
Captain Crunch. Because, like, his dog has a Twitter, and his
Wait,
dog
what?
okay, so if we're going to go into the Captain Crunch lore here, Captain Crunch has a dog as his hand, or whatever it's called when it's, like, your buddy on the boat.
Uh-huh.
And his dog only tweets, like, bark, bark, or ruff, or stuff like that. But he hasn't tweeted in a couple years. And a fan theory is that Captain Crunch killed his dog. Because the last tweet ever on the dog's account was, I'm all good, everything's all good and safe.
Wait, is that
I think that, not like that exact wording, but that's like, I think that's what it is.
interesting?
The lore of Captain Crunch is so crazy. At some point, people were like, he's not even a captain. At most, he's like a lieutenant.
Right, because of the stripes.
Right, yeah. But it's dark. It's a dark character. And that's why Captain Crunch gets an S tier from me. Best character, best story, Christopher Nolan-esque story. Perfect.
I'd say Captain Crunch is up there, but it's hard without seeing all the names to truly say who's on top.
That's true. That's true. Before we end the episode, if you have a favorite mascot, who would it be? That wasn't on this list. Who is it? Just who is it?
I would have to give it to the Coke Santa.
Oh,
Not the polar bears. The polar bears are lame. They
That's a
are
good
so far back in comparison. Coke Santa.
Coke Santa is one of the best because he's just so warming. He's so cool. He's very Santa. There's no other way to say it.
And here's at least how I justify it. I own a shirt. It's got Coke Santa on it, and I wear that thing year round, and that's how I justify it. Because Santa was Coke's mascot, at least somewhat. Therefore, I'm just wearing a Coke shirt, not a Santa shirt.
Right, right. You got a Coke so that everybody knows, hey, Coke, pretty cool.
Hmm.
And I'm probably gonna say something controversial here, but I enjoy the taste of Pepsi better than I enjoy the taste of Coke.
Cold Coke with ice.
Okay, that's fair.
So good.
I've had warm Coke and it's not super great. It just tastes very bland. It because like Pepsi has that weird cherry flavor that Coke doesn't have, and I think that's really what is like the tie-in for me for Pepsi.
Really.
Yeah,
My cousin calls it spicy water, and I think that's a good way of putting it. Pepsi is spicy water, or Coke is,
yeah,
and I like
that's
spicy
about
water.
right. Yeah,
I'll take spicy water any day.
makes sense. It's pretty. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
No.
Well, thank you, Adam, for coming on to this episode of the podcast. This was a blast. I had a really good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Do you want to shout out your YouTube channel and Twitch just for everybody? It'll be down in the description.
Twitch.tv/Tom's Pizza live every. My schedule's probably gonna change soon, so never mind.
Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of the Human Talk Podcast. Remember to come back next time for more Human Talk.